When we look at the sky above us, or the earth beneath our feet, what do we truly see? For many, it may seem like ordinary nature: clouds, mountains, rivers, lightning, thunder. But in the Quran, these are not just natural events. They are signs that point us to the one who created them. Surah Ar-Ra'd, the thunder, chapter 13 of the Quran, is a chapter that reminds us to reflect deeply on the world around us. Its verses are filled with imagery that calls us to open our eyes, not only to what is visible, but also to what lies behind it, the wisdom, the power. The surah begins by mentioning that thunder itself glorifies God. This is a powerful image. Think about it. When you hear thunder, it is not just a sound caused by lightning and pressure. It is, in the Quranic perspective, nature itself praising its creator. In verse 13, Allah says, "The thunder glorifies His praise, and so do the angels in awe of Him." This is a reminder that everything in the heavens and on earth is engaged in worship, whether we realize it or not. The rolling thunder, the flash of lightning, even the quiet breeze, they all bear witness to God's majesty. Surah Ar-Ra'd then shifts our attention to the signs scattered across the universe. It describes the raising of the heavens without pillars that we can see. Imagine standing under the vast sky with no visible support, perfectly balanced. This is not random. It is a deliberate act of design. The surah also mentions the mountains placed firmly on the earth, the rivers that flow, the gardens of different plants, and the way the rain produces fruits of many colors and tastes. Here, the Quran is highlighting diversity in creation. Even though the same water falls from the sky, the earth produces different fruits, sweet and sour, large and small, each with unique qualities. This is meant to make us pause and reflect on the artistry of God's creation. These signs are not simply there to admire. They carry a message of responsibility. When we see the balance in the sky, the precision in the earth, and the beauty of natural life, we are reminded that human beings are also part of this system. Surah Ar-Ra'd emphasizes that God does not change the condition of a people until they change what is within themselves. In other words, observing the signs of God should lead us to transform our lives, to align ourselves with truth and justice. Thunder is not only a natural sound, it becomes in this surah a symbol of awe and reverence. When we hear it, it can shake us, remind us of our smallness, and humble our hearts. In modern times, with science explaining the process of lightning and thunder, some may feel that the mystery is gone. But the Quran reminds us, knowing the mechanics does not cancel the meaning. In fact, it should deepen our appreciation. Thunder is still a sign of power far beyond our control, a sound that commands attention. And just like thunder, revelation is also powerful, sometimes striking, sometimes frightening, but always meant to awaken us. Surah Ar-Ra'd also presents a contrast, the truth of revelation versus the falsehood of denial. It uses a striking metaphor. When rain falls and rivers swell, foam appears on the surface. The foam looks big, it makes noise, but soon it disappears. What remains is the beneficial water that nourishes the earth. This is how truth and falsehood work. Falsehood may appear dominant for a while, just like the foam, but it has no real weight. In the end, truth remains, because it benefits humanity. So what do we learn from Surah Ar-Ra'd? The universe is filled with signs. The sky, the earth, thunder, rain, and fruits all point us to God's wisdom. Worship is universal. Even thunder glorifies God. The question is, do we join in that chorus, or do we stay silent? Change starts within. God will not change our condition unless we are willing to change ourselves. Truth is lasting. Falsehood may seem loud and flashy, but only truth benefits and endures. Awe leads to humility. Just as thunder humbles us, awareness of God's signs should soften our hearts. Today, we live in an age of technology, science, and human achievement. It is easy to think we control everything. But Surah Ar-Ra'd reminds us that nature itself is beyond our command. We can predict the weather, but we cannot stop thunder. We can study plants, but we cannot create life from nothing. The Quran invites us to merge knowledge with humility. Science explains the how, but faith explains the why. Both together help us see the deeper meaning behind existence. Next time you hear thunder, pause for a moment. Let it remind you of Surah Ar-Ra'd. Imagine it as the sky itself praising its creator. Look at the diversity of fruits on your table, the balance of the heavens above, and the rivers flowing across the earth. These are not ordinary things. They are messages, reminders that we live in a world carefully crafted by the one who sustains it all. Surah Ar-Ra'd calls us to live with awareness, with gratitude, and with responsibility, because the signs of God are everywhere if only we choose to see them.